I wanted to give a quick overview of this bandsaw before I get into the assembly of the 3D printed parts. This is going to be a rather lengthy video and it's rather dry, but the overview you can stop watching just after that. First of all, this is printed from ABS. It was done on a Stratasys Dimension BST printer. As I mentioned, it is complete ABS. All of the parts are printed with sparse infill, with the exception of the drive wheels, which I'll show you in a moment here. This was done as a cost-saving measure and also a time-saving measure. It took about a week of printing, day and night, to get all the parts done. There were several revisions that had to be done as well in the meantime. So first of all, it uses a 44 7/8 bandsaw blade. This is a pretty standard bandsaw blade. The only one I could find locally was a thin metal cutting bandsaw blade. It's not ideal for most of the cutting that I wanted to do, but it will work for purposes of this demonstration. Okay, so the part here is held on with one screw from the back side. This comes off, pulls away, and you can see the guide bearings. There's 5 each, top and bottom, on the guide bearings. These are standard skate bearings, and they're there to keep the blade from rubbing on the back, and also so you can actually put force on it. The drive wheels on the back, this is a redesign from what is actually shown in the assembly video. I changed how these are mounted and how they fasten on the other side. And also there's more rigidity in here. I've added ribs to the structure instead of having a complete solid structure. These work better, and also there is a profile on the wheel themselves to aid with self-centering. There is no adjustment in and out on these. I do find that it tracks perfectly straight while it's tightened. There is one small caveat though, is these are plastic wheels, and when you put them under tension they do have a tendency to flex, and that is what these do. There's a small bearing on the back side of these which pushes on this wheel, so you can actually push this bottom of this wheel out this way to prevent the blade from pulling it downward. It works quite well. I've had no problems with it since the redesign. On the top here, this bolt here is an Allen key, and this is the blade tensioning adjustment. So by loosening this all the way off, this part slides up and down, puts tension on the blade for when you need it, and when you need to change the blade, this back cover fully comes off. The back cover is in 3 pieces, and you'll see this in the video. And I haven't reprinted these 3 pieces yet, since so those are the same ones that are shown in the video itself. So that being said, I'll leave it here. I'm going to get to the instructional part on how to assemble all of the files for this. One quick note before I go. As I mentioned, you need a 1/2-inch chuck drill in order to drive this bandsaw. There is a bolt here that sticks out from the drive wheel on the bottom. It's actually direct drive from your drill. You open the chuck all the way, clamp down on it, put your drill into reverse. If you put it in the forward drive, the blade runs in the wrong direction. So you put it in reverse. And I'm not going to turn this on right now because the microphone that I'm using makes a very obnoxious noise. This somehow affects it. So yeah, that's how it works from that point. Now we'll get on to the assembly video.
These are the old style, these are the new style. These holes were cut previously. This is 400 millimeters long. Just sits in there like that. That's why I don't like hand cut things. This part has heat set nuts in it. These were put in previously. Obviously I used the wrong size on this one. That part will have to be remade. Nice. Sorry, it's an old habit. It's not really necessary on this plastic part to cross like this. I thought it had so many fasteners just for rigidity of the part, because plastic is prone to flex. nice and flush. These are the 1-inch fasteners. I have an old version of this part here that I can reuse. Aesthetically, it's not what I'm looking for, but it will work in the temporary. These ones are too long. I have to respecify them. Need 1-inch bolts. Unfortunately, I only have button head stainless for this one. These are wheel adjusters. They put tension on the side of the wheel to prevent the flex, because plastic does flex. So they're 1/2 inch inner diameter. These sit here. These are old revision. These holes aren't used any longer. The drive side wheel requires a longer bolt. Push it all the way in. This one can go in either way. It's the either wheel. Printed spacers. There are 3 non-lock nuts. One there. One there. One goes right like that. This piece goes on. And again, these are too long. Again, I find myself a bolt short. These have to be the correct length, otherwise they protrude far and they prevent this from moving. See? It's locked down. No, it slides fine. One should be sufficient to hold this for now temporarily. Go all the way through into there. At this point I realize I got ahead of myself. Use the short wheel. I forgot about that. Go back to my earlier statement. This has to be put in the other way. Now. This part will have to be remade. And now it fits. You can see there's extra space on here. There's a part missing. There's a space where the extra is needed for the drive, so I'll fill this in with a couple of extra washers. Just temporary. Still not quite enough. This adjuster's a little too tight. the last blade I could find in the city. It's a little too lightweight for what I was looking for, but it should be fine nonetheless. Blade is on. You can see when you turn it, they have a tendency to want to flex this way on the wheels. So that's what these adjusters do. Push the wheels out, prevent the blade from wanting to come out. There we go. So this side needs a little bit more. And of course it's the tight one. Work on that in a bit to get it adjusted. Those are super tight. I had to make a slight adjustment. These nut holes are a little too tight. They go in, but they deform a little bit. I think that's corrected on the new version. Now, this part in, I'm just going to pop this blade back off. So I have to deal with it right now. These have a tiny cutout here, so they go on this way. This section overlaps like this, and the other one walks in like that. Good on you. There you go. Again, these holes are snug. So you can see the difference between these. This is the new style, and this is the old style. I just didn't feel it was necessary for this to reprint these ones at this time. It wants to go that way. Now these parts are removable and interchangeable, depending on how you want to set this up. You can either have these on or off. Both are included. So this is a stand. Goes on here, on the drive side. And then this is a handle. Sorry, oh wait, this is the handle. The other piece is included. Attaches on the either side. I'm going to put both on at this point. And once again, these are tight. clamps in tight. There we go. These are just for printing. That's why they're square like that. But they're designed just to mount or clamp down to a table. At this point, you'd normally put the belt in place, or the sort of bandsaw part of it. I'm just going to put the back cover on, and then I'll take it off later and go over the adjustment to that. So these parts are just the back covers. There's 3 of them. They just clamp in. These are for heat stake nuts. I'm not sure they're totally necessary, but I did put them there just in case. Clamp down in place. Tight. The new printouts have a bit in here, so they don't have this overhang on here. So these are designed so there's only these ones that hold the back cover in, so it's easier to change the belt without having to, or the saw blade without having to take everything apart. And again, the amount of fasteners in here may seem excessive, but it's done for rigidity. This one is left out for now. Now the final bit is this handle. It needs heat stake nuts in these parts. I'm just waiting for those to come in. Kind of locks in place. So if you drive on here, which is your drill, hold on to it. Final bit. This part right here. Sits over right there. Bolts in place. That's the final bit. And that is the long nut. You can use a lock nut or no lock nut. It's a nice flat work surface. There you have it. Doesn't require much pressure, just heat. Just going to visually check. Reset. Eyes aren't what they used to be. They do make a special tip for this, but I find just a soldering iron tip works best. I'm done. Making some corrections to this model. There. Like that, the handle's complete. Blade. The blade needs adjusting if it's wanting to track up and down the wheels. These are to show. So it comes up. So when the blade's wanting to come off. They're really tight. Better, still not quite where it needs to be. Actually, the upper one needs to come adjusted. There we go. Blade is now off camera. Sorry, the blade is now sunk down. The blade still needs to go down on this one because you can see it's popping up here. There you go. It's going back down. I might be a little bit too far out. Just a touch more. You can see it's tracking now at the start. Now the blade isn't tight yet. That's what this section here is for. Be able to, so I can do this. There we go. Blade's coming off again. loosen off a little. Nope, take it down just a touch. There we go. As I turn, the blade is actually going back. And there we go. Fully adjusted. Now I can put the cover back on. This part. Right, protrude through here. A stable work surface. Just need this piece and ready to attach the drill and test. been dropped a few times and it has serious issues.